Thank you, Honourable Member. I invite Mr. Manzoor Nadir to make his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first I join with all my colleagues on this side of the House to congratulate the Honourable Minister of Finance for once again giving us an excellent budget that will continue the expansion of the economy as we have seen over the past 8 years. Mr. Speaker, I also want to offer congratulations to a minister, a woman I have great admiration for. And that is the Minister of Education, the Honorable Priya Manicha. In spite of the monsoon of criticisms and heckling and whatever, monsoon, yes sir, she stood like a woman passionate about progress and passionate about the largest sector of this country, a sector she's leading. We offer once again, Minister, to you and your staff, our admiration and congratulations. Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about Region 7. Strange. I'm not going to talk about the economy now. I want to talk about Region 7. And this is the state of Region 7. Construction is currently ongoing on 2 new schools in Region 7 at 72 miles and Itabali, while several others have been given a facelift. As a result of the inclement weather, work was delayed, but will be completed early this year, not soon, early this year. We continue, and I'm quoting here, Mr. Speaker, to strive for improvement in education. We hope to achieve even more this year once our budget is approved. Rehabilitation of roads. Rehabilitation of roads has been completed at Bamford Point, West Indian Housing Scheme, Agatash, Caribreeze Hill. In terms of healthcare delivery, extension works were carried out at the Camarang Hospital and a new nurses' hostel was constructed. Speaking of Region 8, Mr. Speaker. Region 7, sir. The region, you had your chance just now, listen now. The region has developed a mechanism to facilitate residents who are in need of surgery, especially the region, especially those in the outlying communities, to do those surgeries in Bartika. Yes, Mr. Speaker, in this regard, health workers are deployed to various communities to make house calls and diagnose patients.
Tell them.
Those who are recommended for surgery are transported to Bartika, where the medical procedures are done. After post-surgery treatment, patients are transported back to their respective communities. This is done on a monthly basis. There is a shortage of teachers in some remote areas such as Kurapung. This is as a result of teachers not wanting to be posted in those areas. Efforts being made to train more teachers are recognized. The region will be making efforts to provide furnished living quarters for teachers and health staff, which will hopefully be an incentive for them to take up jobs in these areas. Over the last 20 years, Guyana has moved from a place where 30% of teachers were trained. Today, we have 70% of the teachers. 70%. Mr. Speaker, I expected some noise and heckling, especially from the Honorable Member, Mr. Amna Ali. But you know what, sir? I didn't get this from the Honorable Priyamanik Chan. I got this quote from Kaichor News of March 17, 2014. Oh, and these were the words which Kaichor quoted coming from the mouth of APNU Regional Chairman. Not me.
Repeat again. Repeat.
Not me, sir.
Repeat.
I raised this, Mr. Speaker, I raised this because
He might find himself out of a job.
I raised this because every single thing that we have done that is good, they on the other side have said is bad. And if you listen to them, we had the worst budget ever. The worst budget ever we had. Mr. Speaker, nothing good has happened if you look at this budget and the performance of this government through the eyes of the opposition. Except what we saw, Mr. Speaker, was an assault on the hard-working people of this country. The hard-working rice farmers and other staff of Leg 1 were called grass cutters.
With respect, one second, Mr. Nadir. I have seen a transcript. When Minister Irfan Ali says they're going to be giving money, the retort was to do what? Cut grass? But at no time did the member say that.
Mr. Speaker,
I have the transcript. I have the transcript and I'm very firm on this. At no time did the members say that they are grass cutters. He says to do what? Cut grass?
Mr.
So let's be careful. If not, I will supply you with a copy of the transcript if you wish. Anyway, proceed. I can supply you with a copy of the transcript, but you may proceed. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and with due respect, I never said any particular person. I never named anyone. I never called an honorable member of this House as uttering those words. I said, instead,
Just like the accusation of corruption, nobody's name was called.
Mr. Speaker, we've heard we have 130,000 vehicles in this country, and there's climate change, and we have some of the hottest periods today. Enterprising people, especially single-parent women, have found it good, honest, hard work to sell a bottle of cold water on the roadside. And that honest, hard work, which has built this country, honest, hard work, has been denigrated by the other side. Honest, hard work. Mr. Speaker, the 4,000 honest, hard-working families last year that built homes, the 4,000 that built homes, they were accused of laundering drug money. Because you yourself, Mr. Speaker, said you've seen many reports that says in the construction sector, we have money laundering. We have the proceeds of drug money. But let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, and tell the House, what the information that I have, that last year, 4,000 people built homes in the construction sector that today accounts for 10% of GDP. $80 billion last year in construction. $80 billion in construction. I will come to you just now, George. You just hold tight. I'll come to you. Mr. Speaker, let me quote you the figures. Let me quote you the figures.
Before you quote the figures, and your time will not be taken away, what I said was that the narco trade has permeated every sector. I didn't single out the housing sector to say that it is only. I'm saying that I said it has permeated every sector. And so I did not say that only and every investment in housing is from that. So just let me qualify that. I said every sector has been affected across the board in the country, including. That's what my statement was. But
Mr. Speaker,
please go ahead with your
Mr. Speaker, I can list every single sector in this economy which we monitor. And you did say every sector. And the second largest sector in our economy is construction. The second largest sector in our economy is construction. And the construction sector was specifically mentioned by one member of parliament. One member. But Mr. Speaker, let me get back to the facts. Let me get back to the facts. The construction sector, which today has $80 billion of hard-working Guyanese investment and people who are taking risk. And I'll come to you too. One financial institution, Mr. Speaker, and I will quote the New Building Society. Let me just one. And they are one of a number of financial institutions which fund construction in our country. 2009, mortgages approved 1,103, totaling $4 billion. And 173 persons had $170 million to expand. In 2010, there was a little lull, 633, Mr. Speaker, mortgages at $2.4 billion. But let us come to when we had a new government. Let us come to 2012. And 2011 was remarkable. It had 1,100 mortgages at $5 billion. Remarkable. But let's come with 2012. 2012, one institution. 2012, 1,607 mortgages to the value of $7.2 billion. Continuing to expand, Mr. Speaker, real people and not drug money. Real people and not drug money, Mr. Speaker. 2013, Mr. Speaker, 1,754 persons had mortgages, value $8 billion. $8 billion. And in January of this year alone, over $1 billion was disbursed for construction. Mr. Speaker, you know, all this here represents facts. Represent facts. We don't need this. We could deal with all of the innuendos and all of the wrong information that a hippopotamously critical opposition has been leveling to us. Yes. You know, I heard the former Minister Carl Greenwich mouthing when he heard these fantastic numbers which this economy is generating. But let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, and we've heard all the quotes from the Honorable Dr. George Norton, quoting Hamlet and quoting the rhyme of the ancient mariner. But let me tell you about the albatross which was put around the necks of the people of Guyana by the PNC regime of the past, especially of the past 80s. Let me tell you about that, Mr. Speaker. Yeah. The albatross, because, Mr. Speaker, we are still today suffering from it. We are being lectured. We are being lectured, Mr. Speaker, that we can't manage anything. But the PNC regime in the late 80s, under regime, Mr. Speaker, on the late 80s, early 90s, they signed an agreement to divest the Guyana Telephone and Telegraph Company. 15%, and this was a cabinet decision, so every member of the PNC cabinet guilty, very guilty, Mr. Speaker. I'll tell you about this albatross. Honorable George, where were you? Where were you? Mr. Speaker, you had your say in cabinet in the 80s and you screwed it up.
I'm a member, Mr. Nadir.
Mr. Speaker.
One second, Mr. Nadir. Mr. Nadir, I'm asking you to monitor your emotionalism and your terms and your words.
Mr. Speaker, I would withdraw screw up. but I can say mess up.
But I'm asking you to stick to your presentation and not allow yourself to be sidetracked.
I'm sticking to it.
That's what I'm asking.
Because this albatross around our neck today, Mr. Speaker, by the people who claim that they know better than us. You know what they did? What did...
Honourable members, could you allow Mr. Nadir to make his presentation, please?
So, Mr. Speaker, they signed an agreement that gave GT&T a 20-year monopoly over landline and a 20-year monopoly over, and we must let the people of this country know this, over international data and voice. 20 years. 20 years. And Mr. Speaker, it could have been automatically renewed solely by the company, not with negotiations with the government, solely by the company. So all the children today who have to pay extras for GT&T internet service, we are suffering from this albatross, which the PNC regime put around our necks. Today we are trying to privatize the telecommunications sector. Privatize it, Mr. Speaker. We are trying to privatize this sector, Mr. Speaker, and you know what we are going through. Mr. Speaker, any business with a guaranteed rate of return of 15%. Any business with a guaranteed rate of return of 15% would recover its investment in about 6 years. Not 20, 6 years.
You just wait.
6 years. But, Mr. Speaker, we have this country being saddled by the albatross of GT&T, and we may end up having to pay them 100 times more than they pay for the company, just because we want the children to have access to internet. Just because we want that, Mr. Speaker. So when we hear this pontification from the other side about the mismanagement of this government, Mr. Speaker, we have to get passionate. We have to get very passionate about it. We are accused of plagiarism. Instead of saying we quoted from people, the book, the budget speech cover, we were accused of plagiarizing when we quoted. And we were even accused of plagiarizing the PNC manifesto title, which had something like a good life for all. We're not talking about good life, we're talking about a better life. For all Guyanese. Not a good one, a better one, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, the one thing that really banged in my ear was when the Honorable Member Carl Greenwich mentioned the issue of how he manipulated exchange rate so that Gaisuko could show a paper profit. Yeah. He was giving us a lesson in economics. He said he was giving us a lesson.
5 minutes within which to wrap up. Honourable Member Mr. Greenwich, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I don't recall making any mention of manipulation. I would like the member to stick to what I said. I spoke of exchange rate policy, and what I spoke of is quite acceptable monetary policy. I don't know what he's talking about manipulation.
Honourable Member Mr. Nadir, indeed, when you use the word manipulation, I was, at the time that Mr. Greenwich rose, I was searching my mind to try to recall whether that particular word was ever used. So what I will do is, again, ask the clerk, but I ask you to proceed, and I'm asking the... I personally don't recall the word being used, but I'm asking the clerk to have the transcript
Mr. Speaker,
provided on
manipulation is not a word that's all.
Yeah, but it does have a certain connotation attached to it.
Mr. Speaker,
it does have a certain negative.
1 minute on it.
Yes, but hear me. If it is that the word itself was not used,
Mr. Speaker, I'm prepared to withdraw manipulation.
Right, but the word manipulation does have a negative connotation attached.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I hope I get back my 10 minutes.
No, you are on hold. You're paused.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Devaluation.
Go ahead, sorry.
Mr. Speaker, the honorable member said devaluation was a means of ensuring that the largest foreign exchange earners show a profit. Yeah. Show a profit. Right? I also interpret that because all of us who do mathematics can massage numbers.
1 second, we're going to get a transcript, but proceed.
Yeah, I have the transcript.
We'll get the you have it.
Yes,
well, I'll have to get the official transcript, which is produced by the National Assembly. No. The official transcript of these proceedings is produced by the Hansard Department. Any other document purporting to be a transcript is not a transcript, permissible and admissible for these purposes. So, the clerk,
thank you, Mr.
please be advised about that.
But Mr. Speaker, I had reason to
no, I don't have to give.
No,
you
1
don't
second.
know the standing orders. Use bluff. I don't have to
One
give.
second.
The Speaker has to tell me to take
I can take a point of order, but if it's a point of clarification, the Speaker has to give way. And if the Speaker does not agree to give way, it can. But if it's a point of order, I will take the point of order. 1 second.
What's the point of order?
Mr. Speaker, it's not a point of clarification. I have a point of order.
Very well.
The member is claiming that I explained that we devalued in order to give the largest foreign exchange earner profits in Ghana dollars. He doesn't understand economics. It had nothing to do with the largest foreign exchange earner. I specifically made mention, Mr. Speaker, not simply to the largest foreign exchange earner. If you want the exact formulation, I'll give you, but that was not what I said. That's the point.
I will get the transcript.
Making up things as you
1 second. 1 second, gentlemen. Your time is intact. Honourable members, a point of order is that a member has violated one of the standing orders of the House. A clarification, Mr. Greenidge, is an explanation or a misinterpretation. So a member has to agree to give way if it is a clarification based on a misinterpretation. But unless there is a specific standing order that has been violated, a point of order will not be upheld. I will be getting the transcript, and I cannot therefore, in those circumstances, unless Mr. Nadir agrees to give way, allow the clarification. Do you agree, sir, to give way?
Mr. Speaker, I stand on firm ground with what I quoted, and I'm not giving an
Very well. We will have the transcript at the earliest available point. Mr. Clark, please take note. Thank you. Proceed, please.
So, Mr. Speaker,
5 minutes within which to wrap up.
We were told that this devaluation, we don't understand economics. This is the economics I understand. That when that devaluation came from $480 officially to $45, every man, $4.80 to 45, every person who had $1 in the bank, we zapped their money, their value by how much percent? Maybe he's a math teacher. And that's what I understand. Just to show, 1987, I think it was January, Mr. Speaker, right? So, Mr. Speaker, I understand that albatross, Professor Clive Thomas, has linked that devaluation to saying that this country owed the workers a social debt. And that is slashing their hard-earned earnings that they were saving to build their homes. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, we are here today saying and listening to them promising to cut the $1 billion that we have earmarked for Gaisuko. But, Mr. Speaker, let us go back to the history of the budget cuts. In 2012, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Finance Minister produced $192 billion. They cut it to $171 billion. In 2013, the Honorable Minister produced a budget of $208 billion. They cut it to $177 billion. Mr. Speaker, we hear of a $220 billion. What they are really going to be cutting is the serious investment in developing the physical and social infrastructure, the investment. Why, Mr. Speaker? Why would you want to do this? We agree that this is a maintenance budget, but we also know it's an expansion budget, because what they have been cutting is the investment that will propel us into double digit. We don't want to be seeing single digit growth again. We want Guyana to experience double digit growth. And Mr. Speaker, why I support this budget even more than the last one is that for the first time, real wage increases outnumbered inflation by 400% in 2030. And so, Mr. Speaker, with this 2014 budget, I am confident that the Honorable Minister of Finance has produced, again, another wonderful one-year plan as part of our multi-year program for the development of this country, so that every single Guyanese will enjoy, not a good,